The City of London is the centre of the UK finance sector. But behind the shiny facade lies a dirty secret. As the world stands on the brink of catastrophic climate change, UK financial institutions pump billions of pounds into high-carbon fossil fuel projects that are causing climate change and wreaking destruction on the lives of people living nearby.
When people think about dirty industry, they often think about coal companies, oil and gas companies, but the reality is it's actually the financial sector who bear a lot of the responsibility for climate change and the negative results that arise from it. It's just not acceptable for banks and pension funds and asset management firms to claim that they're just providing a service. The finance industry and those regulating it really just need to wake up to the fact that when they lend billions and billions of pounds to coal, oil and gas companies, they are complicit in the negative effects that those companies have on the ground in the developing world.
Research by the World Development Movement shows that the big 5 UK banks, HSBC, Barclays, RBS, Lloyds and Standard Chartered, helped fossil fuel companies to raise £170 billion between 2010 and 2012. The banks are not the only problem. The UK government and the London Stock Exchange are also complicit in helping fossil fuel companies raise funds from UK investors. Currently, the fossil fuel reserves held by companies listed on London Stock Exchange will produce 214 gigatons of CO2 emissions. This is 475 times the UK's carbon emissions for 2011 and 6 times the global carbon emissions for that year. The London Stock Exchange also has the largest coal reserves held by any stock exchange in the world. These financial investments are not only damaging to the climate, but also to the communities where extraction takes place. Kalimantan, the Indonesian part of the island of Borneo, is one of many parts of the world feeling the devastating effects of the UK finance sector's addiction to fossil fuels. Local communities are being evicted from their land, rainforests are being destroyed, and rivers polluted by UK-financed coal mining companies.
Sehingga di banyak tempat bukan saja terjadi alih fungsi kawasan-kawasan hutan, terjadi juga kehilangan kekayaan keragaman hayati, terjadi juga penyingkiran, pemindahan paksa warga dari ruang hidupnya.
Sedang keruh kelihatan ini kalau sudah banjir gini nih, naik ini airnya keruh, sudah nggak bisa mandi, sudah gini nih Pak. Ya kalau mandi ini tanah ini melulu itu, gatal mungkin sudah. Apalagi untuk dikonsumsi itu sudah nggak bisa. Kalau dulu bening air ini bersih, nggak seperti sekarang, nggak bisa sudah.
The World Development Movement visited communities in Indonesia affected by coal mining companies with financial links to the UK. Bumi plc raised £707 million in the UK in 2010 to fund its coal mining in Indonesia. And Borneo Lumbung secured a $1 billion loan from Standard Chartered Bank, the UK's second biggest bank. These coal mining companies have destroyed vast areas of land. Where once there was tropical rainforest, there are now enormous gaping holes and toxic tailing ponds. Many indigenous people dependent on the land for sustenance have lost their land and livelihood as a result of coal mining. The people of the village of Segading have been relocated 3 times, losing their land each time.
Ya, kami berburu, cari ikan, cari binatang, bikin jerat. Nah, jadi sekarang ini kami kalau untuk berburu itu mungkin agak susah karena binatang sudah jauh. Kalau dulu biar pinggir belukar aja binatangnya ada. Kalau ini Pak, kalau menurut saya pribadi saya Pak, yang menguntungkan itu perusahaan, bukan masyarakat. Itu orangnya tidak dihiraukan lagi, malah di jalan mau dipindahkan. Itu Pak.
Despite suffering the worst effects, local people receive very few benefits from coal mining in Kalimantan. Industrial energy production on their land has not increased access to electricity in rural communities. In this village, a generator is used to supplement power, but lengthy power cuts are still an everyday occurrence.
Jadi secara fakta memang kelihatannya bahwa sumber daya alam di Kutai Timur, khususnya di Kecamatan Bengalon itu luar biasa besarnya, khususnya batu bara. Tetapi bicara masalah kesejahteraan, mencakup masalah penerangan listrik itu tadi, memang ada PLN di sini, bukan tidak ada. Tapi kapasitasnya tidak mampu menerangi seluruh rumah masyarakat, sehingga kami sendiri terpaksa harus sewa atau pakai genset lain. Padahal di depan mata kita batu bara sebagai sumber energi itu tidak bisa berbuat apa-apa untuk di Bengalon.
The coal mining boom is spreading. Global mining giant BHP Billiton, along with an Indonesian company, plans to destroy a huge area of forest in central Kalimantan in order to mine for coal. BHP Billiton is valued at £40 billion on the London Stock Exchange, and as it is a FTSE 100 company, almost every pension fund in the UK has money invested in it. It has also received billions of pounds in corporate loans from UK banks, including Barclays, Lloyds and RBS. If BHP Billiton's mining project goes ahead, this part of Borneo, with its forests teeming with life, its rivers full of fish, and its people still able to live from the land, could end up just like the wasteland that coal mining has created in East Kalimantan.
Well, I'm stood next to this absolutely enormous tree in the middle of the rainforest, and it's being here is almost like being in heaven in some ways. You can hear the sounds of nature and the sounds of the rainforest all around you. You can see these majestic trees and all the wildlife. But in amongst the sort of sounds of the rainforest, you can also hear the relentless drone of trucks and diggers and the various other vehicles that the mining companies are using, because we are just meters away from a massive mine. And this area which I'm standing in at the moment is in fact earmarked for destruction. These trees, and including this one which is over 100 years old, is in fact not going to be here in possibly as little as a few months' time. What's happening here is a huge injustice. Rainforests like this are being destroyed, local communities' livelihoods are being destroyed, yet we and our companies and our financial institutions are investing massively in companies that are destroying the environment here and fueling climate change. And that, I think, is an absolute scandal.
With high carbon investments fueling climate change and devastating the livelihoods of local communities, the world development movement is calling for urgent controls on the finance sector.
If we're ever to meet our climate targets, we need to put a stop to all new investment in fossil fuels, including in projects such as the coal mining in Kalimantan. At the moment, the financial sector in the UK is a complete free-for-all. Banks, pension funds and other investors are completely free to plough billions of pounds into these sorts of projects. This needs to change. The UK financial sector needs to be regulated to divert investment away from fossil fuels so we can meet our climate change commitments.